Now I want you to have some more interesting information, and perhaps with a question. How many of our faculty members in this discussion group know this name, Allama Muhammad Assad? Who was he? From where he came? What was his role? And have they read his name in any of the textbooks or research works on Pak studies done, where he is projected as one of the leaders of Pakistan movement? Where I have looked and I failed to find out any single writing which mentions him. Allama Muhammad Assad was an Austrian. Earlier he was Jew. He became in 1920s Muslim, came to Pakistan, stayed with Allama Iqbal, became very friendly with him. He translated the Quran into English. He translated Bukhari from Arabic into English. He wrote a number of books. He was an authority on Islam. And he was part of Pakistan movement. To the surprise of many of you, he was from Austria, but he carried Pakistani passport. He was first ambassador of Pakistan to the UN. Unfortunately, even our foreign office people does not know it. This is the extent of ignorance. So, he was very close to Qaid-e-Azam. Qaid-e-Azam appointed him as director of Bureau of Reconstruction and requested that he should provide a draft of Islamic constitution. All these are facts documented, but none of the books of Pak studies ever refer to it. This is a conspiracy against truth and facts. So let's see what he's saying. And he's saying this in 1947. I do believe, and have believed for about 14 years, that there is no future of Islam in India until Pakistan becomes a reality. And that is, if it became a reality here, it might bring about a spiritual revolution in the whole Muslim world by proving it is possible to establish an ideological Islamic polity in our times, no less than it was possible 1300 years ago. But ask yourselves, are all leaders of Pakistan movement and the intelligentsia which forms its spearhead quite serious in their avowals that Islam and nothing but Islam provides the ultimate inspiration of their struggle? Are they really aware of what it implies when they say the objective of Pakistan is La ilaha illallah? Do we all mean the same when we talk about the dream of Pakistan? In the beginning I referred to bureaucracy, to people who were stakeholders, and none of them had this idea as Allama Assad is telling us. If the meaning of our struggle for Pakistan is truly to be found in the word La ilaha illallah, our present behavior must be a testimony of our coming nearer and nearer to this ideal, that is becoming better Muslims, not only in our words but in our actions as well. It should be our leaders' duty to tell their followers that they must become better Muslims today in order to be worthy of Pakistan tomorrow, instead of which they merely assure that we shall become better Muslims as soon as Pakistan is achieved. This was said by Muslim League leaders. We will become good Muslims when Pakistan is created. Allama Assad is telling them that don't play with words. If you really mean what you are saying, then be good Muslims today, so that you are worthy of having a country in the name of Islam. If our present leaders but listen to the people's heartbeat, they are bound to realize that what the common man desires is not merely a state in which Muslims would have greater economic facilities than they have now, but a state in which God's word would reign supreme. Most of Pak studies books tell us the purpose of struggle was economic. Muslims were in minority. They could not get their economic development properly done unless a separate state was created. And Allama Muhammad Assad is saying this was never the concern of the leadership at that time. The leadership wanted it only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not for economic gain. In short, it is the foremost duty of our political leaders to impress upon the masses that the objective of Pakistan is the establishment of a truly Islamic polity, and that this objective can never be attained unless every fighter of Pakistan, man or woman, great or small, honestly tries to come closer to Islam at every hour and every minute of her life. That, in a word, only a good Muslim can be a good Pakistani. See how clear the leadership intellectuals were when Pakistan was about to be created. As I have said, the Muslim means intrinsically realize Islamic purpose of Pakistan and genuinely desire a state of affairs in which La ilaha illallah would become the starting point of the country's development. The starting point, not the end. Having said that, I want to bring another interesting quotation, and that tells you that even some of the non-Muslims had very clear perception about what has been said till now. This is a quote from a very well-known Canadian scholar, and you him personally, Cantwell Smith. In the Pakistan case, the whole raison d'etre of the state was Islam. It was Islam that first brought it into being, and that continued to give it meaning. The purpose of setting up a state was to enable Muslims here to take up once again the task of implementing their faith also in political Islam. Pakistan came into being as already an Islamic state, not because its form was ideal, but because insofar as its dynamics was idealist. To set up an Islamic state then was the beginning, not the end of an adventure. To achieve Islamic state was to attain not a form but a process. See, this is how the even non-Muslims who were aware of Pakistan movement or who were eyewitness of it. But how many books refer to Cantwell Smith or Allama Assad? Cantwell Smith was among those persons who was teaching in Foreman Christian College in Lahore. He taught earlier in Aligarh University. He spoke Urdu. He understood everything in the country. And therefore, his evidence is not just a matter of a casual statement, but what he is saying is based on research, on facts. Yet, you find that most of intellectuals that have written on Pakistan, they say that religion is a personal matter and state should be democratic and secular and so on and so forth, which is a total deviation from Pakistan's constitution as well as the history in front of us.